I'm Boss Nakama, and in this video I'll talk about the last chapter of One Piece, the 8046, that is called Egg Defense. The chapter's name is a word pun that is referred to the pirate Tamago's name. Indeed, this pirate of Big Mom's crew has a name that is the Japanese word for egg. And in this chapter, this character has a central role, as we'll see later. After the funny cover, the chapter starts with the battlefield in which Rufy is fighting against the army sent by Big Mom in order to avenge Cracker. We see Rufy, who is tired because of his fighting against the Minister of Biscuit, and so he is not capable to contrast the strength of this army. Also because of the fact that there are many strong characters that are opposing him, along with the chess army that we know in this chapter that is composed by homies. This fight gives us the occasion of seeing the power of the three characters we saw in the chapter in which Big Mom was in search of that particular sweet, and so she was angry and she went in the capital city of Dotland, and also she killed one of her sons, the Minister of Ice Creams. In that chapter we saw Mondor, Galette and Opera, while in this chapter we see the power of these three characters. First of all, Galette uses a sort of water and cuffs in order to block Nami, and so probably she ate a devil fruit that gave her a power linked to water, while we see the power of Opera that is linked with cream, so probably he ate the fruit cream, which gave him the power of manipulating cream. So it's paramecia that allows him to create this material that has also the quality of burn everything that becomes in contact with it, as we see in this chapter. And in the end, the last of the three is Mondor. Mondor has a very cool power, in my opinion, because he is capable of controlling books, not only physically. Indeed, we see him flying using books under his feet, but also he is capable to materialize what is written in books. And in this case, he uses this power in order to distract Rufy. Indeed, we see that Rufy is not capable to distinguish between the real world and the one that is materialized by Mondor, so the one that comes from the books. But another character that we see fighting in this chapter is the one that King Baum calls Lady Amande. This girl has many interesting features. Her physical aspect is characterized by a long neck, so we know that Big Mom wants a family composed by all the possible races. So we know that there is a particular tribe called Snake Neck that we saw in the list of the slaves that could be sold in Sabodi, and probably among the daughters and the sons of Big Mom there are someone that are half snake necks. Maybe Lady Amande is one of them, and so she probably will be the first member of this tribe that we see in One Piece. But this girl has also a very particular fighting style that I think is the first time that we see in One Piece. Indeed, she uses a meito, so she uses a good sword that is called Shirawo. But what's interesting is her particular way of cutting. Indeed, in One Piece, we always saw swordsmen that are capable to do great cuts in fractions of seconds. So Their style is focused on quick cuts. Their attacks are fast attacks. An example of this is Zoro, but also Mihawk, and I think all the swordsmen we saw before. In this case, Lady Amande does great cuts because she is capable of cutting a great tree such as King Baum, but she cuts very slowly. This is very interesting, and I think that this is the first time that we see someone who uses a sword doing this sort of cuts. Lady Amande fights in this way because she thinks that it is no sense killing someone instantaneously, and she wants to make the death as painful as possible. So this is a very interesting fact, and I appreciate this change because, as I said, this is a new way of using the sword in One Piece. So with all these characters involved, the fights ends with Rufy's defeat, as it was easy to predict because Rufy had to move from that place. Indeed, Sanji would have not returned there, and so because there will be another meeting between Rufy and Sanji, because we cannot think that their relationship will end in this way, the only thing that could have happened is that Rufy has to move. And Oda realized this fact with the order of Big Mom of catching Rufy and Nami alive. So in this way he can keep them alive, and also he can bring them in the castle. That is probably the place in which we will have the last climax of the saga, because all the principal characters are moving to the castle. Indeed, Sanji and Germa 66, such as Big Mom, such as Padding, such as Brook and Pedro, are already there, and now Rufy and Nami will reach that place. So all the principal characters will be there. Probably we will see also Jinbe in the castle. At this point there is an interesting dialogue between Sanji and Big Mom that allows us to think more about the behavior of this emperor. Indeed, as we saw in many occasions before, Big Mom is a woman that respects the other's opinion. So also if an idea is in contrast with hers, she is open to listen this idea and to think about it. So in this case, Sanji tries to do a sort of affair with Big Mom. He promises to accept the marriage if Big Mom will allow Rufy and everyone that came to Totland with him to leave the island safe. Big Mom, as I said before, is a very reasonable person, and she knows that the most important thing is the alliance with Germa 66. And this alliance is strictly linked with Sanji's marriage. So the most important thing is Sanji's marriage. And she does not care about Rufy's challenge that dates to the Fishman Island saga, or about the fact that Rufy has defeated Cracker, so something like that. And I think that her behavior has in a sense something similar to Rufy's one, because we saw before that Big Mom accepted the fact that Jinbe wanted to leave her crew, because she said that a pirate has to be free. We saw also that she accepts Sanji's purpose because she gives not importance to what is happened. So in a sense it's very similar to Rufy's one, because as Rufy, she doesn't want to limitate the other's freedom, and she doesn't care a lot about the past. And this leads to a sort of digression, because we also saw that Blackbeard, that now is another emperor, has a behavior very similar to Rufy's one. His ideas are quite similar to Rufy's. The difference lays in the fact that Blackbeard thinks that in order to obtain what he wants, he can do everything, so without caring about life of other people, without caring about the freedom of other people. So both Blackbeard and Rufy has the same idea of a pirate and of the dreams in general. We saw that in Jaya. But while Rufy follows his dream with his idea of justice that is principally linked to the respect of other people's freedom and of other people's feeling, Blackbeard doesn't care about them. And another emperor, that is Shanks, that is the one that put Rufy on the path that he is following, and that has the same ideas of Rufy, because Rufy learned what is a pirate from him, is another emperor. So I think that all these emperors, we don't know anything about Kaido, so we cannot say anything about him, but I think that all these emperors are pirates that have the same idea of what a pirate is, but they interpret this idea in different ways. There is Shanks that interprets this idea in the same way of Rufy. There is Blackbeard that interprets this idea in the opposite way, and there is Big Mom that in a sense is in a central point between them. As I said, we don't know anything about Kaido, but we know that he occupied Wano Kuni in order to obtain informations about Road Poneglyph by the Kotsuki clan, and so I think that he is more similar to Blackbeard with this information. So we know that an emperor is a great pirate, because there are only 4 people that can be considered the controllers of the new world, and they are the 4 emperors, so they are the greatest pirate in the world. I think that Oda is trying to say that in order to become an emperor, you must have that idea of pirate. The idea of pirate that is not the one that had Bellamy in Jaya, for example, but the idea of pirate as a person that the first thing that wants is freedom. That is a person that follows his freedom, that follows his dreams, without caring of anything else, but the way in which this way of seeing life influences the way of seeing the relationships with others can be different among the pirates that has this way of seeing things, such as, for example, the 4 emperors. And this is a very interesting fact to think about. In this chapter is also renamed again Laura, the daughter of Big Mom that Mugiwaras met at Thriller Bark and that gave Nami the view card of Charlotte Lilin. So, because of it is the second time that Laura is named, I think that it is possible to see her in this saga. And I think that maybe she could help Mugiwaras. She could help them doing a sort of mediation between her mother and her friends that saved her from Gecko Moria, or she could help them to escape. But I think that there is a great possibility of seeing her very soon. And also the fact that Oda continues to underline the particular behavior of Big Mom maybe is linked with the fact that he wants to prepare a sort of dialogue in which Big Mom will change her opinion about the alliance with Germa 66, and so she will allow Sanji to leave. Now starts the central part of the chapter, the one that is rich of new informations. We see a room in which Big Mom has 3 Poneglyphs. One of them is the Road Poneglyph that was mentioned in Zoo. About the other 2, one was already possessed by Big Mom. The other one is the one that Jinbei gave to Big Mom and that he found when he was helping fighting the beasts in the mini adventures. And this is the part in which Tamago, who is the character that gives the name to the chapter, makes his appearance, and he gives us many informations. First of all, we know that there are 30 poigneglyphs in the world, and 4 of them are the road poigneglyphs that are the ones that allow to reach Raftel. One is the one that Rufy saw in zoo, one is the one of Big Mom, another one is in the hands of Kaido, and the last one is not known where it is. And so among the 30 there are 26 poigneglyphs that are normal poigneglyphs. Among them, 9 form the so-called Rio poigneglyph that contains all the informations about the Void Century that ended 800 years before the beginning of the story. And I think that among these 9, 3 are the ones that tells the position of an ancestral weapon. For example, the one that Robin read in Skypiea. And the other 6 maybe are the ones that tell the story of that Void Century. The other ones are the poigneglyph that indicates the position of other poigneglyph that are, for example, the one that Robin found when she was a young girl. So we saw 2 road poigneglyph, the one of Zoo and the one of Big Mom, and we saw 2 poigneglyph that are part of the Rio poigneglyph. The one of Arabasta that indicates the position of Pluton, and the one of Skypiea that indicates the position of Poseidon. But we also saw another very particular poigneglyph, that is the one of the Fishman Island. That is a sort of letter of that mysterious character called Joy Boy, sent to the princess of the Fishman Island in the Void Century. I don't think that this is part of the Rio poigneglyph, but I'm not so sure because we don't know what kind of information are included in that Rio poigneglyph. Maybe the poigneglyphs that Big Mom has, the 2 that are not road poigneglyph, may be part of that Rio poigneglyph. But we will know this only when Pedro and Brook will obtain the information of those poigneglyphs and will take them to Robin. And in this chapter we see how Tamago is very scared about Pedro. And we know also that Pedro is an ex-captain, so he was the captain of a crew that wanted to obtain the informations of poigneglyph in order to help Boss Nekomamushi and Duke Inuarashi. Indeed, Tamago calls Pedro thief of poigneglyph, and for this reason he has increased a lot the defense, creating the egg defense, the Tamago defense of the title, because he knows that Pedro is in the island. And among the ones that he called in order to defend that poigneglyph, there is another of the most important members of Big Mom's crew, Charlotte Smoothie, that is the Minister of Juice and a member of the trio that is the strongest trio of Big Mom's pirate, and that has a bounty of 920 millions of berry. That is the second highest bounty we see in One Piece after the one of Jack. The power of this girl that is related with the Devil Fruit is the one of ring people in order to obtain a sort of juice. In this chapter we see Smoothie doing this to a girl, but this girl does not seem to suffer for this action. On the contrary, she seems to like it. But when the process is done, this girl, this young girl, becomes an old girl. So probably the effect of this juice is the one of obtaining the beauty of the ones that are ringed. And maybe this fact allows Smoothie to remain young, but maybe this fact could also imply that Smoothie can acquire the strength of the one that are ringed. So she is a very scaring character, and Brooke and Pedro cannot contrast her, and so their mission is very difficult. And Pedro himself says that he only wants to live, but Brooke talks to him that the one that has said that this could be the very only occasion to obtain the information of the road poneglyph of Big Mom, and so that they must complete that mission. I think that the Brooke-Pedro duo is a great couple, and that probably they will succeed. And I also think that there is a great possibility of Pedro being the next nakama. Indeed, Pedro was in the past a pirate. He was the captain of a pirate ship. He has also a great experience in stealing the information of poneglyph, and this fact can be very useful for Rufy because he has to know what is written in the 4 road poneglyph, and we know that another one is in the hands of Kaido. But also, going with Rufy could be an occasion for him to continue to follow his dream, that was the one of collecting the information of poneglyph in order to know the story, but principally to help Duke Inuarashi and Boss Nekomamushi, that, as we know, were servants of the Kotsuki clan, that is the clan that wrote in the Void Century the poneglyph. And the fact that this past is named often in this saga probably is linked with a flashback that we will see later, and we know that Oda, for all the members of Rufy's crew, showed a flashback before they entered the crew. So it's reasonable that Pedro will be an ex-nakama, maybe with Carrot. Carrot that now is with Choppa in the Mirror World. The fact that there are some chapters that they are not shown, such as it happened for Brooke and Pedro, implies that we will soon see them, and probably we will know that they reached in some way the castle. But we don't know what will be the role of this couple. That probably will be an important role, because Brooke and Pedro will have the role of storing information of poneglyph. And as we see in the end of the chapter, this will done with a sort of surprise attack in which Pedro will distract the defense, while Brooke will obtain information, and maybe Brooke will do this using his powers of being in walls, and so his powers linked with his ghost form. And Carrot and Chopper maybe will have a role of the same importance, but probably this role will be linked with the rescuing of Sanji. And as I said, probably they will reach the castle in some way, because every character is reaching the castle. And as I said, because of this fact, this will be the place in which there will be the last climax of the saga. Also because the famous tea party, the famous marriage between Sanji and Pudding will be done in the castle. So probably during this marriage there will be the greatest parts of this saga. The last thing I want to say is about Pudding. I don't know if Pudding is a liar or not, because we don't know why she was not in the place she indicated to Rufy and Nami. She indicated them a way that was safe, but Pudding wasn't awaiting them. Instead, there were Brûlé and Randolph and Kingbaum and all the Omis that knew that Rufy will reach that place. So also because of the fact that Oda gave no information about the way in which Pudding reached the castle, and he gave no explanation about the fact that she didn't fulfill the promise with Rufy, in a sense betrayed Rufy, Nami and the others. But the great question is why she wants to marry Sanji and she doesn't want Sanji to sail with Rufy again. Maybe because she wants the alliance between Big Mom and Germa 66. Maybe because she only wants to follow her mother's orders. There is this possibility, and the reason of the existence of this possibility is first of all the fact that we have no information about what happened to her in the period of time that starts when Rufy and the others left her place and ends when we see her during the lunch with Sanji and Germa 66. So what do you think about padding? Do you think she betrayed Rufy, or do you think that she was forced to reach fastly the castle? And also, what do you think about the relationship between the way of thinking of the Emperor, about the way of being a pirate that I said before? Tell me in comments, and if you liked the video, put a like and subscribe. I'm Boss Nekomamushi. We will see with the comment of the next chapter. Bye.
One Piece!